It's another week. It's another loss for the Miami Dolphins. This one a heartbreaker, though. 30-27 to their AFC East rival, Buffalo Bills, in a game very reminiscent of 2022 in Buffalo, where Tua was lights out, but the defense and others around him let us down, and we end up falling short. We'll talk about it all. Do me the favor, smash the like button, subscribe if you're new. Man, let's get into this.
Touchdown! Got it! You have got to be kidding me. Jalen Waddle has a Dolphin touchdown. And he will score! Field down the near side, man open, touchdown! The run from Tua Tagovailoa. Touchdown! He's going deep! He's got it for a touchdown again! Touchdown!
Beautiful day to be a Dolphin fan. Let's go! I mean, I said it at the live reaction. What is there to say anymore? I mean, what's good for Nation, but what is there to say anymore right now? You know, this was a defensive collapse. Last week, everyone wanted to blame Tua for the safety, and I kept coming out here and telling you, no, the defense couldn't stop a nosebleed. What happened today? Tua has a perfect game against the Bills, and the defense again lets us down, including the 61-yard field goal for the game winner. They scored on their last 5 possessions against us. Their final drive of the second quarter, 12 plays, 39 yards, a field goal to make it 10-6. After Mostert fumbled, 11 plays, 64 yards to make it 12-10 Buffalo. After we respond with a field goal to make it 13-12, they make it 20-13, 2 plays, 70 yards, including a massive 63-yard touchdown from Ray Davis. And then they convert the 2-point conversion, make it 20-13. We come back and respond with a 9-play, 70-yard touchdown drive. They come back and respond with a 10-play, 70-yard touchdown drive. Make it 27-20. Dolphins come right back. 11 plays, 81 yards, 440. Make it 27-27. And then we allowed 9 plays for 27 yards for the game-losing field goal. Chop Robinson has him at 3rd and 14. Takes a neutral zone infraction, makes it 3rd and 9. But it didn't even matter. Because on 3rd and 9, Allen bombed it deep to Coleman. Josh Poyer with a helmet-to-helmet gets flagged for unnecessary roughness, 15 yards. Takes it to the Buffalo 46. Then Matt Collins. You know what's crazy? Matt Collins, the ball where he caught the ball on 2nd and 10 for 7 yards, and then he put the ball down. Or sorry, no, I apologize. The 3rd and 3 catch where Matt Collins caught it for 4 yards, and then Josh Allen spiked it. Matt Collins actually should have been flagged for putting the ball down. If you want to be technical here, Matt Collins should have actually been flagged, and there should have been a 10-second runoff. Now, why does that matter? They had no timeouts. That would have left them with Josh Allen spiking the ball with around 11 seconds left. So that would have been 11 seconds, 1st and 10, and then he's had the incompletion to Samuel and the incompletion to Kincaid. And those 2 incompletions alone took up 16 seconds. They actually should have ran out of time. Mac Hollins should have been, that was a penalty. He's not allowed to put the ball down himself, and the refs didn't pick it up and call it. That should have been a 10-second runoff. But Poyer, I mean, what has this guy done all year? This guy hasn't done anything positive for this team all year. Poyer has been a consistent liability all year. All year. And here's the thing now. Let's talk about it. Chris Greer and Mike McDaniel. Ladies and gentlemen, the games are getting close now. That's the problem. The games are getting close now. So they're going to look at Ross when he comes and knocking on their door. They're going to say, hey, we got Tua back. If the defense would have held in the second half of Arizona, we win that game. Instead, we lose by 1. We get Tua back. We almost go into Buffalo and beat them. If the defense holds, we win that game. That's the issue that we're running into now, too, for all of us that want, some kind of change or shift. I'm on board with Greer being gone and Mike giving another year. But, they're going to turn around. They're going to say, hey, look at, and we're not healthy on D. And then they're going to, you know what their excuse is going to be? And we're not healthy on defense. We don't have Phillips. We don't have Chubb. We've had to deal without Holland. Who's missed games. That's exactly what they're going to say. It's exactly what they're going to say. Look, Tua came back. We almost beat Buffalo. If our defense would have been healthy, we would have won. That's exactly what they'll say. Amanda donates $20, says, no matter the coach, no matter the QB, still have issues. 24 plus years without a playoff win. Reason who is to blame? I don't know. Also, knew when Chop went offside that we were done. Scripted, of course. It's scripted. Well, let's be honest, Amanda. Let's keep it $1.50 here. The Poyer penalty was a lot worse. Poyer doesn't take that penalty, Amanda. We get off the field on 3rd and 9. Right? That's an incompletion. If Poyer does not take that penalty, we get off the field on 3rd and 9. And you know what the best part is, Amanda? We would have had 54 seconds left on the clock. We'd have had about 46 seconds left on the clock if we got that ball back. And we would have had 2 timeouts. Man, Poyer's just been a liability. He's not been good. Poyer and Op. Everyone's saying Poyer and Op today. He's just not been good this year. Every year it's the same stuff. I want to throw up. Listen, I'm sick to my stomach. 2 games in a row, you lose on a last-minute field goal because your defense couldn't get a stop. Listen, I thought McDaniel called a really good game today. Look at McDaniel even went away from Mostert a little bit after the fumble. He started getting Wright more involved. The offense was on point today. The defense for the second week in a row has cost us this game. Y'all didn't want to believe me. Last week, people tried to say, oh, the safety, totally ignoring that this defense last week gave up, 254 points. 254 yards and 19 points in the second half. Wanted to totally ignore it last week. Can you ignore it this week? Can you? You didn't stop. This defense didn't get a stop since the interception with 11:45 left in the second quarter. How pathetic is that? And in the second half, you didn't get 1 stop. You didn't get 1 stop. You didn't get 1. You allowed after the fumble, the Mostert fumble, you allowed an 11-play, 64-yard touchdown drive. After we returned with a field goal, you allowed a 2-play, 70-yard touchdown drive, including a 63-yard catch and run from Ray Davis. You allowed 10 play, 70-yard drive for a touchdown. Then you allowed 9 plays, 27 yards for a field goal. You allowed 231 yards in the second half. And you allowed 24 points. They found a way to be worse than last week. Last week, they allowed 254 yards in the second half and 19 points. This week, they allowed 231 yards in the second half and 24 points. That's just not good enough, man. And this is a guy who was, I was giving Weaver his props early in the season. When we were down to a backup quarterback, that defense was holding us in games. I said it last week. I'll say it now, second week in a row. This team plays better with a backup quarterback with bad field position and their backs up against the wall than they do with two in the number one offense. Nelson says, I don't know. I didn't know Mac Hollins was a ref. Either did I. Should have been a 10-second runoff. It's the last 3 weeks. They've given up points on every fourth quarter drive against the Colts, Cardinals, and Bills. You're right. I'm not even counting the Colts game. I'm not even counting the Colts game. Now, in the second quarter, in the second half against the Colts, they did force, 3 punts in the second half. All right. The first drive of the second half, the Colts punted. Their third drive, they punted. And their fourth drive, they punted. But then you allowed 2 field goals and a touchdown on their other drives. And then their final drive, they ran out the game on you. So really, it's only the Cardinals and this game where they've allowed a scoring drive on every drive in the second half. It's pathetic. The second half defense is not good. I was telling all y'all this last week. No one wanted to listen to me. No one wanted to listen to me. Last week, they allowed a field goal, 1 punt, a touchdown, and then 3 straight scoring drives to end the game. A touchdown, and a field goal. Today, they just allow a scoring drive every drive since their interception in the second quarter with 11:45 left. Tua was not the issue. Tua was phenomenal today. Tua was really good today. It's deja vu from 2022. That's exactly what it is. It's exactly what it is. Tua was 25 of 28 for 231 and 2 touchdowns today. He had a passer rating of 124.9. This guy's 25 of 28. Where are you at, defense? That is just not good enough. And the Raheem fumble was huge too. But man, they had so many chances to get a stop. They had so many chances to get a stop. Like, let's be honest with ourselves here. They had so many chances to get a stop after that. And you had them on that final drive. You had them stop. 3rd and 9, you had them stop, but Poyer takes the penalty. Like, our offense has to be flawless and perfect the way this defense is playing. It's crazy. This defense all of a sudden has fallen off a cliff. Tua had no part in losing this game. Anyone saying Tua cost us this game doesn't know football. This is all on the defense's shoulders today. Second week in a row, it's on the defense's shoulders. Unbelievable. Just unbelievable. This is what I talk about. How nothing breaks our way against the Bills right now. And it's been going this way for years. Even when Tua plays lights out, this team still finds a way to lose. God's child says Tua cost us by not throwing for 10,000 yards. Reason McDaniel is what, 2-10 last 12 games? I don't know. Like I said before, 2 is not the problem. Who is the problem? Poyer is bad. Weaver had his issues. Where do we go from here? Listen, you're 110% right about McDaniel in his last 12 games. McDaniel was not an issue today. This falls squarely on the shoulder of the defense. See, that's the problem we're getting into, Amanda, and this is why I brought up Greer and McDaniel. Now they're going to turn to Ross and say, look, hey, we lost by 1 point to Arizona. We lost on a last second field goal to Buffalo with Tua back. If that defense would have held, we would have won these 2 games and we'd be 500. Now the problem is these issues we have are seeping into people who weren't giving us issues at the start of the season. Moser was hurt. He wasn't a fumble issue at the beginning of the season. Now, 2 of the last 3 games, he's had key fumbles. Weaver and his defense, like I said, when Tua was out and we were going through these backup quarterbacks, that defense was keeping us in games and legitimately giving us a shot. Now they're the issue. The offensive line, they were an issue. Now they're playing well. They're not an issue. Chop Robinson, listen, again, the offside penalty was stupid, but still, they bombed it and on 3rd and 9, and that was the Poyer penalty. We should have got off the field. We still should have got off the field. Yes, it was a bad penalty, but we still should have got off the field. I would point more in Poyer's direction than Chop's. Chop has been giving us pressures and been having solid games. Poyer hasn't given us. How many good plays has Poyer given us? You don't even need to use one hand to count them. See, look at this. Everyone's always looking for one single person to blame. Always, you know? Yes, the defense was part of it, but no, the defense was the reason, bro. You can't sit here. Did Mostert not help our situation? 110%. But Mostert is, I'm not going to sit here. Mostert made one bad play. How many bad plays did the defense make? Okay? The defense did not get a stop since 11:45 remaining in the second quarter. Stop this. Stop this right now. And look at it. I frag you. He's 110% right. Jordan Poyer literally cost us Jalen Phillips for the season. Now he cost us this game. I would put this loss more on Poyer than Mostert. We recovered from Mostert's fumble. We didn't recover from Poyer's unnecessary roughness penalty at the end of the game. That's the problem. We recovered from Mostert's fumble. We did not recover from how bad that defense was playing. The defense was bad today. And that's 2 weeks in a row. Look at how many yards they're allowing in the second half. Do the math. They allowed 231 this week. They allowed 254 yards last week in the second half. Back in the last 2 weeks in the second half, do the math, man. They've allowed 485 yards in the second half. That is ridiculous. That's ridiculous. And then, you know, you don't even got to get into the points. Look at the points they're allowing in the second half right now. Look at the points they're allowing in the second half right now. Right? It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. The points they're allowing too. They've allowed 485 yards in the second half in the last 2 weeks. When you look at the points, they allowed 19 last week. They allowed 24 this week. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. This is not good enough. And all on last second field goals. Unbelievable. I just, I mean, it's just not good enough. Just not good enough. What do you say right now? I don't want to hear, like we recovered from Mosert's fumble. We did not recover from Josh Boyer. Jordan Poyer. Josh Boyer. We didn't recover from Jordan Boyer. So if you do the math, they gave up 231 yards this week and 254 yards last week. That's 485 yards. Okay. You look at, they gave up 19 points last week in the second half and 24 points this week. So in total, when you add them up, you've given up 485 points, as well as 485 yards, as well as 43 points in the second half in the last two games. That is bad. That is bad. And because if you add the two halves together, that's a full game of football. So in the 4 quarters you've had in the second half of the last 2 weeks, you've given up 485 yards and 43 points. Like, that's brutal. And now what do? They're not going to fire sale it because you know what they're going to say? Oh, we can still go 8-1. We've been so close the last 2 weeks. And, I'll say this. If they play the way they played today, the rest of the schedule, they're going to win the majority of the games they have left on the schedule if the defense steps their game up. Ugly stuff, man. Ugly stuff. Tua, he was at the podium today, and this is what he had to say post game from the podium.
Hats off, man. Hats off to Tyler Bass for making that. Hats off to their team. They did a great job. It was a great game. There's things that we could fix on both sides of the ball, offense and defensively, but I think we're taking a step in the right direction. As a team, this wasn't the result that we wanted, but we just got to keep pushing, man. It's still a long season, and if we want to go where we want to go, we can't worry about the if, ands, or whats. We just got to focus on the next opponent and the upcoming week that we have. I would say there's been a lot of jumps offensively with our run game, with our action game, and then within our pass game as well. I think a lot of guys bought in offensively, playing on the road. There wasn't as many mishaps, but there's still things that we need to clean up with pre-snap operation, but I would say for the most part, with where we want to go and what we're trying to do, I would say it's a really good step in the right direction.
Too little, too late, though.
We're not worried about anything else but the next opponent. Um, Playoffs, any of that, we're not worried about that. Worried about who the next opponent is, and we're trying to win out. I wouldn't say just grace. I would say God's mercy upon my life. Like, you hear a lot of the opinions that are said for me, especially with the things that have gone on this year, uh, 2 years ago with the concussions. But uh, really, it's been God's grace upon my life that I'm still able to play the sport that I love, still able to call the plays the same way, and not really have any mishaps with that. So all glory be to God. Um, you know, yep, God is good. Yeah, it was it was a play that we had, and we had two different looks for what we wanted. One side was a certain look for what their defense was going to present, and then the other side was for a different look. And so worked the side that I thought would give me the most answers. Uh, I think they dropped 8 on that play, and so it wasn't a big rush. So extend the play and found Waddle. Yeah, like I said, I would say we took a step in the right direction as a team collectively. Um, this is the ball that we want to show on Sundays, but there's a lot of things we're always going to have to clean up, and we're going to continue to skin the cat however we need to, and we're going to move forward with that. That's it. Hmm. I would say, um, to answer that question, regardless of where we play them, whether it's here or in Hard Rock, we just got to find a way to beat them. That's it.
Mm,
I know
good
it
answer.
sounds mundane because I say this over and over, but we just got to find a way to beat them. That's it.
Good answer.
You know. Thanks, guys.
Good answer from Tua there. Real good answer. He ain't lying. He is not lying. You just got to find a way to beat him. Got to find a way to get it done. That's all there is to it. I mean, great answer from Tua. Couldn't get a better answer. It doesn't matter whether it's at the Rock, doesn't matter whether it's in Miami. You just got to find a way to get it done right now. That's all there is to it. Man, tough when your quarterback is that good today. You know, that's tough. 25-28, 231, 2 touchdowns, 0 picks, 124.9 passer rating. That was definitely his best game against the Bills. Probably, I mean, when you look at the December 2022 game where we lost again by 3 points, 32-29. In that game, he was 17 of 30 for 234 and 2 touchdowns. He had a passer rating of 104. So he was actually better in this game. This was probably his best game against the Bills, and you totally threw it to the wayside because the defense sucked and cost us the game. And one of the guys who cost us the game was this man, Jordan Poyer. I got to hear what this guy has to say.
A lot. Obviously, frustrated we lost. You know, Probably the way we fought. I mean, we went toe to toe with one of the best teams in the league, and I mean, come down to a 64-yard field goal to lose the game. It's tough, But
61,
we got a
Poyer.
lot of good guys in that locker room. I know a lot of guys are gonna keep.
Who's going to ask him about his brain fart?
Me as a leader, I got to continue to work, and continue to lead, and we got
Lead what?
Play. What do you think? What do you think?
So he thinks he shouldn't have taken a penalty.
I'll leave it at that. I'm just playing football. I thought it was a clean play. I felt like I put my helmet right into his chest. Just playing football. I feel like just playing football. It's tough. What can you do?
He's asked, what else can you do in that situation?
I feel like I said, I had a great post break, and he went up for the ball.
Don't lead with your head, brother. Lead with your shoulder on that play.
My feet, and I felt like I hit him right where I was supposed to hit him. The ref didn't think so they called it. It is what it is. It isn't what it isn't. We kept playing. I mean, we got to stop, and they kicked a 64-yard field goal to win the game.
Someone going to tell him it's 61?
Hard. Guys played hard. Yeah, there were some mistakes out there, but again, we went toe-to-toe. After a lot of stuff that's happened this year, there's some good things to take out of that game that we'll continue to.
Not from your side of the ball.
Continue to work on, and biggest thing is continue to stay together. And I think we got 9 games to continue, 9 opportunities to play football. Game that we love, and so why not just continue to work? Situations are going to change. Just got to continue to work.
I mean, what do we got to listen to this guy? He doesn't think he took the penalty. I mean, you just got to be smarter in that situation, bro. I mean, what else is there to say? Don't lead with your head in a ticky-tacky game. Poyer will go back to the crib and cry on his wife's big... I'm not going to finish that. Y'all can read that. Listen, he's been a disappointment, man. I thought he would, make some plays for us. I predicted him to get an interception against Josh Allen and really make some plays for us in this rivalry this year, and he did nothing. Amanda, reason, where do we go from here? 3 years in with this core. Looks like it's done. Let's not sugarcoat this. Poyer's beyond his prime. He gave all Buffalo and came here to save on his taxes. This team is BS. Where do we go from here? Where we're going to go from here is probably going to be this. I don't think you're going to see any moves. I don't think you're going to see any trade deadline moves. Now, there would be guys, there would be guys that I would still go out and make a move for, but they're not going to. I think right now, with how close this is getting, I don't think you're going to see McDaniel. You're not going to wake up and see McDaniel or Greer gone tomorrow. I don't think we're going to make any trades. I think they'll stand pat. I'll still do a show tomorrow where we'll go over trade targets and sell options. Why didn't we keep Brandon Jones again? You could say the same for Deshaun Elliott. He's been really good. Poyer's been a disaster. They went cheap, and these guys that they signed cheap have hurt them, other than Calais Campbell. I mean, thank God we had some plays made today by OBJ. It was about time. But, guys like Poyer have not been good signings. But for the most part, Greer's made a lot of good signings. Like Aaron Brewer's been really good. Kendall Fuller's been really good. Jordan Brooks has been really good. But Jordan Poyer, without Holland back there and Jordan Poyer and Marcus May being your main 2 guys, it's been an issue, to say the least. So I don't expect them to be big sellers. I don't expect them to be big buyers. I expect them to stand pat and ride this out. That's what I expect. So smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new. Appreciate y'all for coming through right now. Smash that like button. All right. So here is Mike McDaniel's presser from today. Let's see what he had to say. Speed asked about the 61-yard field goal.
Yeah, no, I was prepared for, if it was a miss, getting prepared for the play call to, we would have had it on the 49 or I believe it was 49-yard line. And so getting ready for that. And
Anyone saying we lost because of two was
so
delusional and
it
has an agenda.
kind of caught me by surprise, just because you're focused on the next play. So, valiant effort, great job by the Buffalo Bills, and tough place to play. And you got to be error free, and we had some errors. Well, it takes it out of everyone's hands when you go helmet to helmet. So I didn't see it live, but if there's helmet to helmet contact, it is what it is. You have to go strike zone, which is below the neck, and so that they'll call that every time. If that's the case, we'll see it on film. It's tough. Football's full of stuff like that, especially when you're playing a good opponent. And I think the team recognizes that they played a better brand of football. So, the challenge is whether or not that helps or hurts you. And I really believe in all the guys in the locker room to make sure that although it's difficult, you have to take it for what it is, apply the growth towards the next opponent, and I think that's the expectation. That's what we'll be talking about here soon. It's a tough division loss, one that guys strained to try to get, but you have to in this place. If you turn the ball over, which we had one, they have a very high percentage of winning, and it was tough to overcome that. Well, you try to simplify that to one game, and you have one game on your schedule and nothing else. And I think it's important that in all seasons people avoid the noise, whether that's good or bad noise. And this is definitely the case where we have to use the effort and utilize the challenge of coming back after losing on last second field goals 2 weeks in a row. So it's not ideal. At the same time, I think from competitors' standpoint, that type of challenge is something that I'm going to be counting on that will motivate our guys to press forward in a difficult time. No, I think we've grown together as an offensive unit, finding conviction in things that guys do well, and then you're looking at an opponent that loves to double, 10 and 17. So you can either, I used the basketball analogy before. You can either try to split the double or you can get an assist. So there was a lot of guys involved by intention, and I thought Tua played one of his best games that since we've been working together on finding those eligibles and taking what the defense was giving them, and that was a lot of double 10-17 for a good amount of the game. Mhm. Well, I think you're absolutely right. It's there's no moral victories, and so we lost as a team, and you want all three phases to look at it like they could have been the reason that we won. But there is growth, and you do make sure you emphasize that, because you want that to continue. You don't want it to take a step back. I think uh, there I was very happy with the challenge presented that Buffalo presents defensively. I was very happy with to his decision making, his ball placement, and his overall conviction. And I thought nobody on the sidelines throughout the entire game um, really wavered, and that was important too, considering that we were really we really had a lot to play for, and guys wanted this one bad, so this will hurt, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing in the big picture. It just depends on what you do with it. So
Don't even
yeah,
say adversity.
I think the guys are motivated. Didn't see it coming down like this, but at the same time, you have to you have to uh, you have to hunker down as a unit and come together and continue to progress, because we did show some progress, albeit not enough. Yeah, no, it was all based upon kind of the clock and how much time we were going to leave them, and I think on a 2nd and 10, Tua progressed to number 5 in the progression, which was Devon Achane, and he got an explosive as a result, and that kind of changed the math. But we were prepared to go for 2 in a certain time situation. Just felt like there was too much time left. No, it's something that you have to play aggressive in this game for success. I have no doubt that the intentionality was appropriate. Poe's a gigantic player for our team and has been phenomenal. Really
Don't start making
really helping
excuses.
us take another step in how we prepare, how we play, how we communicate, all that. But he knows himself that you take it out of your hands and put it in the officials' hands the second you don't hit the strike zone. So if you hit the strike zone, it's unfortunate. But if you didn't, that's going to get called um, every time, because that's against the rules. Yeah, no, he got he had I don't really know. I believe it was a kick, but they had to bandage some stuff on his shin, and then when you are down, you have to come out for one play. He was ready to go back in, but based upon rules, we had to wait a play before he did.
Talking about Raheem's fumbles now.
No, I thought he was running really well, and we talk about it all the time, but defenders from pursuit, the guys you can't see are what you're most vulnerable to, and we can't. He's got to fix that. I think I appreciated his effort. I thought he ran as hard as he's ran all season. I thought it was a big part of our success, but we can't turn the ball over, especially to that team, and expect to win the football game. So. Yeah, I think it was more about you know, walk than anything else. We needed to get him on the field a little bit more, and you know, something that we collectively thought gave us the best chance to win against this particular opponent, which is you know the the compass for all decisions made on all playing time is from the team perspective, and I thought before watching the tape, you know, it seemed like he added some value to the whole defense. But we'll check out his play when I comb the tape here coming on the flight. Appreciate it.
So there you go. From McDaniel, not much. I mean, you know, he's going to justify his move to continue to give Raheem Mostert the football. Now, in fairness to him, after that fumble, if you look at it, Mostert only got a few touches, right? If you count how many touches he got, let me look here. It looks like if you go by the final, like how it all worked out, he only got, after that fumble, it was mainly the A-Chan show with Wright mixed in. He only got a few he only got what, 2 touches? After the fumble, he only got, I think, 2 touches, I want to say. He had a 7-yard run. After that, it was A-Chan, more A-Chan. Jalen Wright started getting mixed in. A-Chan, Beckham, to a scramble, Jonnu, A-Chan again, Wright again, A-Chan, Wright. A-Chan, he only had 1 touch after, Mostert only had 1 touch after the fumble. So, hey, I mean, there's progress. Amanda, I have had season tickets for 10 years, same old stuff. I don't know where we go from here. No matter the coach or GM, Buffalo still enjoys playing us. What's going to change that? Remember when they used to hate playing us? I don't know what's going to change it, man. I really don't. I mean, putting together a complete game from both sides of the football would be a start. Yes or no, but this Bills team waits for you to make mistakes, get your 4 to 5 yards, and make you self-inflict. Agreed. That's why I said no controllable mistakes in my keys to victory. The Mostert fumble is a controllable mistake. The Austin Jackson penalty, controllable mistakes. You know, pre-snap penalties and fumbles are controllable mistakes. Shout out to the homie Martin. He says, tough loss, but hell of a game. All I wanted was to see us swing on the bully of the league right now. I wouldn't deviate from the preparation one bit. Agreed. Hey, can't say, you know, you can't say they didn't prepare well for this game. They just didn't execute when they needed to. Knight says, I can't even be mad at Mike. That defense just failed. Why do we use Needham with Cater hurt? Does that make sense to you? Are you saying why don't we use Needham or why do we use Needham? Because if you remember, Needham was actually one of the best nickelbacks in the NFL just about 3 or 4 years ago. And then injuries have kind of derailed him and where he's at, right? So, you know, why didn't we use him? That's what you're saying. Because I was going to say, Needham wasn't out there much. I don't know what's going on with Needham. It seems like this new staff aren't big fans of him. That's just my opinion. Remember, Weaver had a say in AVG walking. Needham stuck around, but I'm shocked. Daniel says, hire Salah as the DC coach next year. I mean, if you want. Jordan Poyer gives the Bills another win. Go Bills. Hey, I mean, you ain't lying. Jordan Poyer did more for you guys at the end of the game than he did for us. Should have got off the field. Shout out to Penn Astridge, Peastry. She came through and she gifted 10 Phinside the NFL memberships. Appreciate you, men, so much for continuing to grow this community. Christian Reinhardt, 12th man, Matt Farms, Joe 305, Ryan Neff, Brittany Gray, John West, Robert Lund, Mike F, and Adam Tremmel all gained memberships from Peastry, donating 10 memberships. Appreciate you guys so much. Especially, in tough times like this where we got to watch this team. Oh boy. I mean, never mind. I'm about to be out there in 2 weeks watching them play the Raiders. I mean, is this what I'm going to see? Now, in fairness with where we're at, the schedule does seem to go into our favor a little bit right now. You got the Rams coming up on Monday Night Football. Then you got the Raiders. You got to turn around on a short week and get the Raiders. Then you got the Patriots. Then you got the Packers, the Jets, the Texans, the 49ers, the Browns, the Jets. Man, you got to find a way. I don't know how you're going to do it, but you got to find a way to go 8-1. You got to beat the Jets twice. CJ Stroud and the Texans are slumping. You got to beat them. The Rams are beatable right now. The Browns are beatable right now. The Packers are losing to the Lions right now, but they're 6-2. Like, they're playing good ball, and you got to go to Lambeau for that game. I mean, someone asked me at the start of the stream, of the live reaction stream, do we believe in miracles? We're about to find out if miracles are real. We are about to find out if miracles are real. Don't you worry. It's coming. We're about to find out. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. Tough loss. That was a tough one, man. Call me crazy, but I think we make the playoffs. You're crazy. Tua leads us to the greatest season of all time. We'll see. We did it with Flores. Yeah. Well, hasn't started off very good. Jason says he's rooting at draft position at this point. Jeff says, you people really believe this team has a chance? 8-1 ain't happening. We are not beating the Packers or 49ers. That's a strong point right there. 2021, we started 1-7 after Tua cracked his ribs. Then we went 8-1. The problem is 9-8 ain't getting you into the playoffs. And I do agree with Al here. I think you're probably losing to both those 49ers and Packers teams. And Griffin says, and with Flores, we still miss the playoffs. It's true. It's true. I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and hold my breath that this team is about to put together a string of 8-1. Our quarterback's coming out here and playing his best game ever against our rival, and that's still not good enough to win. This defense right now, never mind, a couple of weeks ago we were saying, can you rely on this offense in big moments? Never mind that. Now, can you trust this defense in big moments? Daniel says, currently number 7 in the draft, defensive lineman in the first round, Mason Graham, baby. They got to retool in this offseason, retool and go. Not a rebuild, not a reset. They need to retool. Tough, man. Hey, they've been trying to get Waddle involved. Last week, he had a lot of key drops. Big Stick says, I've never been on the Dolphins because I never bet on the Dolphins because I was afraid I would jinx them. But I bet on them this game and I went to the game. I tried to use a little bit of reverse psychology. Sorry, guys. It's not your fault, bro. I blame Poyer in the defense a lot more than I blame you, sir. Hey, at least you covered the spread, though. Bet US had them by 6 points, underdog. So at least you covered the spread. I don't think we're losing both Jets games. No, Tua's never lost to them. Shout out to everyone who donated: Nelson, Amanda, Elpad, Martin, Randy, Knight, Jason, Penn, aka Peastry. I appreciate all of y'all for coming through and donating today. I'll be back tomorrow. I mean, the trade deadline's 2 days away. We'll talk about it tomorrow. The Dolphins about to be buyers or sellers. We are going to find out. We'll go over the PFF grades, next gen stats, and everything. Tough loss, man. Tough loss, but it's got to sit on the defense's shoulders. Ogba said last week that they finally got an offensive spark and shit down their leg. Well, guess what, Ogba? You guys did it again. 2 weeks in a row. You guys shit down your leg in the second half. Allowed 231 yards and 24 points in the second half this week after allowing 19 points and 254 yards last week. Just not good enough when the Dolphins had leads heading into both second halves. Dolphins fall to 2-6. Tough loss. See y'all next time. Fins up all day, every day, baby.